everyone, welcome back. I am so excited to get into this mani. I am so happy with the way that this came out, and I can't wait to show you how I did it. If you're curious about the tips on this hand, they're on both hands actually. It is a brand that is new to me. I've never tried their tips before, but they were kind enough to send them to me to give them a try, and that video is gonna be coming up on my channel really soon. But for now, let's get into what I will be using to create this mani. So first off, I have a brand new collection to share with you. I'm really excited about it. But first, to create the sweater nail and the snowflake, I'm going to be using for the sweater nail some 2D art gel by Gelish that I got, gosh, a long time ago, which I have never actually used. So I like the fact that it's a bit thicker than regular gel polish and it is iridescent. It's not opaque white, but it's not clear. It's easier to see the design. And I'm also going to be using my white gel polish from Nail Addict LA, formerly known as, it is now Nail Reserve. And I'm going to be using that to make my white snowflake that I'm going to sugar. And now let's get into this collection. This is the Knockin Boots Collection by Sassy Mouth Dip Powder in collaboration with Marla Kris. It is a beautiful blue and gray tonal collection. There's so many different ways to use it. I personally, it gives me denim vibes all the way. So it made me, I don't know, I just wanted to do the sweater nail. I've been wanting to do one for a long time. Here's the whole collection all swatched out for you so you can see, you know, how they kind of all go together and flow nicely. It's a beautiful collection. So I'm going to use these three colors. And I am going to do the darkest blue on my thumb, pinky, and index finger. And then I'm going to do the medium blue on my ring finger, which is where my snowflake is going to be. And then the lightest color is going to go on my middle finger for the sweater nail. I'm showing you the tools that I'm going to be using. I have two dotting tools. They are the smallest dotting tools I own. And then some fine liner brushes. One is longer bristles, which I'll use for the snowflake. And the brush that I'll be using for the sweater nail design will have these shorter bristles, a little bit easier to control. The brushes I got on Amazon and the dotting tools I got in one of my Triple D Diva boxes, but I found them on Amazon and those are linked in the description box and are available in my Amazon storefront. So we're going to get right into this mani, and I'm going to be honest with you, I did not keep all of my dipping process in this video because I wanted to get to the nail art pretty quickly because that takes some time, and this video was long and getting longer. So I decided I'm going to link the playlist that has a bunch of basic dip application videos up in the cards for you. So if you want to see my basic dip application process, you can go ahead and click on those links. But I'm just going to do the one layer of each color, and then I'm going to move on to encapsulate and clear. I'm going to activate, file and buff, shape everything up off camera, and then we'll get into some nail art. So I decided once I had everything filed and shaped that I was going to activate the darker nails and apply my dip top coat, just for the purposes of protecting that color from anything accidentally getting on them. So that's what I'm doing here. And then we're gonna get into the sweater nail. We're gonna do the sweater nail first and then move on to the snowflake. So I'm gonna finish that up. I'll be right back. The first thing that I am going to do on the two nails that I will be doing my nail art on is applying first a base coat and then a matte top coat. The base coat is to help adhere the matte top coat to the nail, and the matte top coat provides the perfect canvas and background for my nail art. So I'm going to apply both of them, curing each of them for 60 seconds, and then we're going to start in this sweater nail. Here we go. We're finally going to get into this sweater nail. I decided to use this gel paint, 2D gel art paint by Gelish, because, as I mentioned before, it's a little bit thicker than a regular gel polish, and it has a little bit of pigment in it. It's kind of iridescent, so it kind of looks white when I put it on the nail, but it's really a little more transparent than that. And I like that because I wanted to keep the color of the dip powder that I would be sugaring with, if that makes sense. So I want the sweater design to stay the same color as the background so that it looks just textured. Does that make sense? I'm saying that a lot. I say it in every video. It's like my tagline. I don't know. But going back, what you just saw me do is I added 2 lines and I didn't think that they were centered enough. So as you can see, I took a little bit of alcohol on a lint-free wipe and wiped that right off, careful to not get it on my skin. I am going to say these are gel polishes. I do have a gel sensitivity. However, because the gel paints and the gel polish that I'm using for nail art does not touch my skin. It only goes on my enhancements. I can safely use them as long as I cure them entirely. I have not had any issue with that. So the way that I am going to make my little sweater pattern here, I call this the cable, kind of like a cable knit pattern. I got this technique. Now, I'm sure hundreds of people have done this technique with sweater nails. Sweater nails are all over the place. They've been really popular for the last couple of years. This is my first attempt at doing it. But the very most recent person I saw do this technique was Marla Kris, which is fitting because Marla is the, co-creator of this collection, collaborating with Sassy Mouth. So I thought, yeah, I'll give it a try. So basically you're doing two short lines parallel to each other. So they are right next to each other parallel. And then you're going to take your brush and connect the bottom of the line on the left, my left, your left, and connect it to the top of the line on the right in the next set of lines. It's much easier to just watch what I'm doing than to try to tell you what I'm doing. But essentially, that's it. And once I have those shaped out exactly the way I want them at my desired thickness and I have the edges all cleaned up, then I am going to take my dip powder and the same color that is the base color, and I'm going to pour that over. You never want to dip wet gel polish into the powder because it will smudge and move because, of course, it's not cured. So you want to pour the dip powder over. Do not brush any excess off until after you've done a full cure in the lamp. I am going to cure each element separately. So I'm going to do the cable, this part that I'm doing right now, first. I'm going to sugar it. I'm going to fully cure it in the lamp. Then I'm going to move on to the lines. Do the same process. Pour over, fully cure, and then I will move on to the designs that I will put on either side of those lines. So I'm doing all of it this way because I worry about messing something up. So I'm going to do one element, cure it, do the next element, cure it. That way I don't mess anything up because I do not want to have to wipe it all off and start over. So I'm going to just let you watch me be a little bit nitpicky and finicky, making sure that this is exactly the way I want it. I'm going to pour over and cure that. I'm going to do the lines on either side of this design. And I will come back when I start the details on either side. I'm going to be doing some little tiny hearts. Yes, I'm crazy. But I absolutely love the way it came out. They're absolutely adorable, so it was all worth it. By the way, so I'm just going to hop in here real quick because I have to say that I was absolutely impressed with my ability to draw a straight line because I surprised myself. I really did not think that I was going to be able to do this line. I was so nervous, especially when I was doing this on my other hand. I will tell you, having this hand rest saved my life with all this nail art and drawing straight lines. wow, having something stable and sturdy and up off the table to anchor my hand and my fingers on made all the difference for me. I would never have been able to do this without that hand rest. It really is a game changer for me. I'm just so glad that I have it in my arsenal of nail tools. I think you'll be able to really see how I utilize it when I do the snowflake in a minute. But yeah, very useful, very, very useful. So now I'm going to add this other line. I'm going to sugar that as well, fully cure it. And when I return, we're going to add some cute little heart details on the sides. All right, this is where we are at, and I am really happy with how this looks so far. And now we're gonna get into creating some tiny little heart details on each side of those lines. I'm gonna go in with the smallest dotting tool I have, and I'm gonna make 2 tiny little dots right next to each other, not touching, but close. And once I have the dots the way I want them, I'm going to take my fine line brush and I'm going to drag those dots down to a point and then fill in the center. And that creates the look of a heart. And I will sugar that and cure it. Once it's cured, I'll dust off the excess powder and I will create the next one underneath it. I'm going to do 3 hearts on each side and then 2 dots down at the bottom because of the shape of my nail. There wasn't enough space to create another heart. So I just did 2 small dots to complete the pattern, make it look more complete. I am only going to do 2 hearts on camera. The rest I will do off camera because it is kind of redundant. It's the same process. And because I am curing each of them individually as to not mess them up, it did take a little bit of time. So I'm not going to make you sit here and watch me make 6 hearts. That would just be so tedious. So we're just going to skip all that and move on to the snowflake. Now that the sweater nail is all cured, I am going to go in with my dotting tool yet again. This one is slightly larger than the one I used for the hearts. And I am going to create 1 dot in the center of my nail. And this is going to be the guide that I use for the rest of the dots. And as you can see, I am anchoring my hand, both of them, on my hand rest. This is stabilizing my hand so that I can make these dots and keep them small and evenly spaced. So I did 1 dot in the center of my nail. Now I'm doing 2 dots above that dot and 2 dots below that dot. Then I'm going to do 2 dots on either side of that center dot. All right, once I have those placed, then I'm going to go in between each of the first set of dots. And I'm only going to do 1 dot in that space. Once I have all my dots where I want them, I am going to start from the center dot, which is slightly larger than the other dots. And I'm going to have a tiny little bit of the gel polish on my brush. And I'm going to start from the center dot and I'm going to drag a straight line out through the other dots. And I'm going to do this all the way around from the center dot. And I'm going to do that for the 2 dots first. Then I will go back in and I will drag through the single dots. I had to go ahead and tuck my index finger in because it was starting to shake, and I need that line to be as straight as possible. So again, I am doing my best to anchor my hand and rest my pinky on that hand rest to stabilize everything. If I make a mess, I just go in and try to fix that with a little bit of isopropyl alcohol on a brush and just clean that up. And then I go in and do the same exact process for the single dots. And then our snowflake will be ready to be sugared. So to sugar this nail, I am using paprika from 𝕿𝕝𝕟𝕟𝕼. They have a line of glitters that are specifically meant for sugaring, and this one is stunning. The colors are different depending on what you put it on, like what color you use it over. On black, it looks different than on white. It's just a gorgeous iridescent glitter, which you can't even see in the camera. It made me so sad that I couldn't capture it for you, but it is just this gorgeous iridescent. It makes it look like snow. So there it is, our beautiful little snowflake. Much easier than I ever expected it to be. I'm so excited and proud of myself. Okay, all right, so I decided that this little snowflake needed just a little bit more bling. So I'm gonna add a gem to the center of it, and I'm adhering it with my Fast Bond glue. This is the glue that I use to attach my enhancements, my full coverage tips. It is phenomenal for gem placement. If you don't wanna bother with curing, it is amazing. You just got to give it a little time to dry, but once it's there, it ain't going anywhere. So before we wrap everything up, I just wanted to point out the importance of cleaning up your tools. So I'm just wiping off the gel polish from my dotting tools with a little isopropyl alcohol, and then I'm cleaning off the gel from my brushes as well. However, acetone and alcohol are very drying to art brushes. It just dries out the bristles, makes them fray. They don't stick together to make light. They just don't work as well when they're dried out like that. So I learned, and I don't remember where I learned it because I've actually seen quite a few people do this, but you just put a little bit of base gel. I like to put it on a lint-free wipe so that I don't have to touch it, and I run my brushes through it, and then I cover them. It's important that you cover them, and at least keep them away from your lamp, because it is gel, it will cure. So be careful about that. But this is the best way to keep these brushes nice and moisturized and ready to use next time. All right, and here is the finished look, and I honestly don't think I could be happier with this. It's definitely on my list of top favorite manis I've ever done. So what do you think? Have you ever done a sweater nail? Let me know down in the comments below. How did it go? I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Please come back and join me again for the next one. And don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye now.